What would you do if your neighbor set your backyard on fire, called it a safety drill, and then tried to steal your land? That's exactly what happened to me, and let me tell you, it's a story that'll make your blood boil. My name's Tom, a retired electrical engineer who thought suburban life would be all about tending my garden and fixing leaky faucets for neighbors. But then Lisa, our HOA's self-proclaimed SAVY, turned my quiet little world into her personal kingdom, and I wasn't about to let her get away with it. It all started with a small kitchen fire at a neighbor's house. A pan left on the stove, a few flames, nothing the fire department couldn't handle. They were there in minutes, sirens blaring, and the whole thing was over before it could spread. But Lisa, she saw her chance. Before the fire trucks even pulled away, she was out on the street, her voice shrill with fake concern, preaching to a crowd of rattled neighbors. The fire department was too slow, she declared, her eyes wide like she just survived a war. We need to take control of our safety. If we had our own team, this never would have happened. I stood there, arms crossed, rolling my eyes so hard I thought they'd fall out. The fire trucks were fine, but Lisa was already scribbling plans on a notepad, rallying people like she was running for mayor. I could feel the tension in the crowd, folks shifting uncomfortably, but no one dared speak up. That's when I knew our peaceful neighborhood was done for. The next day, neon flyers were plastered everywhere. Join the HOA safety squad! Protect our homes, protect our future! It looked like a campaign poster for a cult, not a volunteer sign-up sheet. I ripped one off my mailbox and tossed it in the trash, but deep down, I knew this was just the start. Lisa wasn't asking for help, she was seizing power. By morning, she was buzzing around the neighborhood, practically glowing with excitement. I ran into her by the mailboxes, and her smile was so smug it made my skin crawl. Did you see my flyers, Tom? She chirped, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. We've already got volunteers. It's gonna be great, our own team, ready for anything. I couldn't hold back. Lisa, you can't just start a fire department. That's illegal. This is nuts. Her smile didn't budge, but her eyes hardened. It's not about a fire department, Tom. It's about community responsibility. You don't want to be the odd one out, do you? The threat was clear as day. This wasn't about safety, it was about control. She wanted to run every inch of our lives, and she was low-vying every second of it. I told her flat out I wasn't joining her little squad, but she just smirked and sauntered off, already plotting her next move. That's when things got weird. At 5 a.m. a few days later, my doorbell jolted me awake. I stumbled downstairs, half asleep, thinking something was seriously wrong. There stood Lisa, grinning like a maniac, wearing a reflective vest and clutching a clipboard. "Good morning," she sang, way too cheerful for dawn. "Time for our first safety drill." I blinked, my brain struggling to catch up. "Drill? Lisa, it's 5 a.m. What the hell?" She waved me off like I was being dramatic. "It's part of our emergency preparedness. Gotta be ready for anything, right?" I lost it. "No one agreed to this. I'm not doing your insane drills." She didn't even flinch, just checked something on her clipboard and said, "Well, you're already on the list. It's for the greater good." My voice shook with rage. "You can't force people into this, Lisa. This is my home, not your playground." Her smile turned cold, and she leaned in just enough to make my stomach twist. "Don't be surprised if things get complicated, Tom. Safety matters." Then she marched off to terrorize the next neighbor, Leah vying me fuming in my doorway. But Lisa wasn't done. A week later, I came home from the hardware store to smoke rising from my backyard. My heart stopped. Flames were licking at my fence, and the smell of burning grass hit me like a punch. I grabbed the hose, hands shaking, spraying water like my life depended on it. My garden, pride and joy, years of work was smoldering. Then it hit me, this wasn't an accident. Lisa's safety squad had been out that morning for a test, and they'd set my yard on fire. I stormed to her house, where she stood in her yard, clipboard in hand, looking like she hadn't just torched my property. "Bit of an accident," she said with a shrug, her voice so casual it made my blood boil. "We're still working out the kinks. No big deal, right?" I stepped closer, my voice low and furious. "You nearly burned my house down, Lisa. You're not qualified for this. You're playing with fire literally." She didn't even blink. "It's a learning process, Tom. Now we know we're prepared. You should be thanking me." Thanking her? I wanted to scream. This wasn't about safety, it was about her proving she could do whatever she wanted. The final straw came when I saw my garden, once bursting with color, reduced to wilted stalks and dead tomatoes. Lisa's crew had dumped some chemical into the watering system during their test, poisoning everything. I marched to her house, fists clenched, ready to end this. She was in her yard, directing her squad like a general, but when she saw me, her smile faltered for a split second. "What's wrong, Tom?" she asked, fake concern dripping from every word. "You did this," I spat, pointing at my ruined garden. "You poisoned it." She shrugged, like it was nothing. "We had to test the plant's resilience. I was protecting you." "Protecting me?" I was done. "This isn't protection, Lisa. This is you destroying everything because you think you're God." "Not anymore." Her eyes narrowed, and for the first time, I saw a crack in her armor. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be, Tom," she hissed. "I'm doing what's best for everyone." I stepped back, my voice ice cold. "You're just a bully with a clipboard, Lisa. And I'm done letting you win." That night, my phone buzzed at 11:12 p.m. Motion detected. Backyard. My stomach dropped. I opened the security feed and saw 3 figures creeping through my yard: Lisa, her son Jake, and some guy in a fishing hat. They were at my shed, flashlights darting, Lisa scribbling furiously on her clipboard. I heard her voice through the feed. "If he's hiding contraband, we document it and file an emergency seizure motion. Property reassignment, under HOA Clause 3A. Clause 3A? That didn't exist. She was making it up to steal my land. My blood boiled. I tapped the silent alarm. Cops would be there in minutes. Grabbed my coat and slipped outside. Moving quietly, I flipped off the exterior lights, plunging the yard into darkness. Then I stepped forward, my voice steady. "You're trespassing. Drop your tools. Lie face down." "Now." Lisa froze, then tried to bluff. "This is an HOA wellness check. We're authorized." I flicked on my flashlight, blinding her. "You're committing a crime." Jake lunged, but I hit the strobe light, disorienting him. He crashed into the fence and went down. The others froze. Lisa clutched her clipboard like a shield, hissing, "I know my rights." I stepped closer. "You violate every one of mine." The police arrived, and the vy denke was undeniable. Lisa, caught red-handed, tried to spin her story at the city meeting a week later, but I was ready. Standing before the officials, I laid it all out: her lies, her trespassing, her destruction. "She's not protecting us," I said, my voice shaking with fury. "She's bullying us, using fear to control us." Lisa's smug grin faded as the room turned against her. The city stripped her of her HOA power, ordered her to clean up her mess, and made her wear the ridiculous fire gear she'd forced on everyone else. Picture this: Lisa, in a cheap jumpsuit and plastic helmet, scrubbing my fence with a hose, neighbors filming and laughing. She shouted, "I'm doing this for the community!" But no one bought it. Her empire was ashes. At the next HOA meeting, the neighborhood voted to dissolve her safety squad for good. Lisa's face twisted with rage, but she was done. Her reign was over, and I'd made sure of it. So, what do you think? Can someone like Lisa ever justify that kind of control, or is it always just a power grab? One thing's for sure: push people too far, and they'll burn your plans to the ground.